Welcome to the WREST Coaches Report with Dennis Papadatos. I'm Ryan LaFay, coach. Last week, the Northeast duels. You guys had to take on nationally ranked Michigan, Northern Iowa, and then you had to also take on Lock Haven as well. Just your opening assessments of the matches.
Coming into it, we knew it was going to be probably the hardest weekend altogether. I'm still not happy with, and a lot of the day the way we competed, but then we actually competed better in other situations. It was set up with coming into a match like Michigan that we're probably not ready to win, and we weren't expected to win, and we ended up competing the best in that one. And then Northern Iowa, which is a stretch. I think if everything goes right, we could, but that was the worst we wrestled all day. And then Lock Haven was going to be the competitive battle, which it ended up being, and forfeiting 33 and losing some matches I feel like we shouldn't have lost. Obviously, cost us a duel. So coming in, most likely probability, we were going to go 1-2 on the best, but we ended up 0-3, which is, any way you slice it, I don't care what you say, what's expected, it's not good, and we're not happy. I didn't like the way we competed against Northern Iowa. We made them look like they were the 10-time defending national champions, and they're not. I mean, they're ranked 23rd, and they're. But we're going to compete well. It's going along the lines of the same stuff I said last week. We're having really slow starts. I don't know if it's our weight. I don't know if it's a lot of things, but we got to make some adjustments. It's nobody's fault and it's everybody's fault. Coaches included and guys included. So that's where we got to make some assessments. Or we're struggling with when there's some pressure. I think the guys felt like that we can beat a team like Northern Iowa, and the combination of not making weight right and that feel of pressure, we did not perform well. And then Lock Haven was a match that we expected to win. I'm going to say we expected to win. We knew it would be hard in a battle, but we expected to win, especially if the things went. We knew we could have a couple letdowns and still win, and we had more than a couple, and we lost. And then Michigan, which was a team that no one expected to win, is when everyone was farther away from making weight, and the expectation of no one expecting us to win, and then guys went out and battled, and we won. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't win the duel meet, but it was a way better expose of what we've been doing. So I think it's a combination of guys still not having their weight the way it should be, and feeling the pressure of some expectations.
And do you think that, you guys actually hung in for a couple of those matches too early on? I mean, you were right in the thick of things. But then it kind of strayed away at the end. Is it momentum? Is it, like you said, just being in the spotlight? Like, what was it that made you guys just fall kind of short towards the end of these matches? Somewhat
experienced. We're still kind of young. That's a good question. That's what we're looking for. Like someone like Damon should have won his match. He gave him that takedown and against Michigan. Jelani was winning pretty big, and the kid came back and he actually held on to win. Like, he was winning by 6 or 7 at one point and ended up winning by a point, but he was disappointed in himself too, and he's got to close out matches better. They're primed and ready, and a team that knows how to stay tough. They're in the Big Ten. They have no choice to stay tough or you're going to get broken. So that's why we want to wrestle teams like that. But we showed some signs of it, like Jamel had to get tough. He started off struggling, and then he beat a returning All-American from Lock Haven and beat him pretty handedly. And then the Michigan kid was actually the kid I was the most nervous about for the whole day for him. And Jamel had to come back from behind, had to score a series of tough points and win some tough situations. And after the first minute and a half, he won the next 5.5 minutes of every tough situation. So I was pretty, I guess that and Frank Afrani were bright spots of the day from them. But overall, I keep looking back at 0-3, and I expect better, and I want to do better. There's a lot of people that have been, Hofstra at the highs and are super supportive, and they deserve better. So, of course I get, it's not the way I wanted it to go. So we're going to make what I think are the necessary adjustments on our end, and hopefully the guys need to make some adjustments as well.
You mentioned Frank Affronti, 3-0. What was working for him against these tough opponents?
I'll tell you, what did you just say?
Well, you went 3-0. What was working for him against these tough opponents?
What do you think Frank did?
He won all of them.
Well, what did he do to win them?
He
got tough. I'll give you the God's honest truth. Frank wrestled tough for, let me think, 7, 14, 21, overtime, 22. I personally think it was a very bad call in overtime. Frank should have won it in the first overtime. For about 23 minutes, Frank got as tough as you possibly can get for the entire day. Even when he gave up one set of points against the Northern Iowa kid, he just wrestled tough. He wrestled tough on top, he wrestled tough on bottom, he wrestled tough on his feet, and nothing was that pretty. He just kept finding a way to battle. And it was the most consistent Frank's ever done it. I mean, to be able to do it for, usually, people have struggled doing it for an entire match. He did it for 3 straight matches. He never got flustered. He just stayed the course and said, I'm going to be tough and win this situation, and he ended up 3-0, beating a top 10 kid nationally. And he actually wrestled 3 good kids, and he won all three matches. So that's what we're looking for. So it's hard to be fully mad at the whole day, but that needs to extrapolate to some other guys, and we could be where I know we are at.
And you emphasize toughness. Is it kind of good that you get these tough opponents out really the first weekend of the season? You get to play, or you get to wrestle Michigan and Northern Iowa, and you need to show your wrestlers and your team that you need to be tough in these matches early on in the season as the season progresses?
It is, that's part of the plan. Plus, the Binghamton Open was way tougher and harder than I wanted it to be when I originally scheduled it. That happened later. We were one of the first teams to agree they were coming, and then all of a sudden a bunch of other good teams, and I was like, wow, this field got way harder than I wanted it to be for the opening weekend. But it is what it is. So it's good. So it's good that if you feel like you can make the adjustments, you got to be nervous that sometimes you keep getting beat up, you start losing your belief. I don't think that's happening, but so we got to do a good job of making sure everyone's optimistic, positive. Hey, we have some things we can work on, and the good news is only November, and we're going to do the work to change it, and to make the changes. So that's a positive, and I can tell you it's not going to get that much tougher from here. But at the end of the day, we have a super strong conference in the IWA, and a bunch of young coaches are coming into their 4th and 5th year, and their programs that traditionally haven't been that good, they're actually really good for a change. And they've been showing progress, but like Princeton has finally arrived. They're way better than they've been, and Drexel's way better, and Binghamton's better than they've been the last few years. And so we're trying to rush the process in year 2 to catch up to everyone else in year 4 and 5, and I believe we're up to the task, but we're trying to get through the process quicker because we don't have many lollipop rollovers this year. We don't have them.
And finally, you're in Ithaca next weekend, New York Collegiate Championships. What really is the emphasis in practice this week and then going into that match this weekend and even going forward this season?
We're making, like I said, the changes. We got to out handful, and overall I feel like we got out tough, so we're making those changes right now. I did some things that, I spoke to every guy at the end of the season last year, and everyone wanted to do more technique. And, when I was in college, we didn't do that much technique, I'll be honest with you. We did it kind of more in individual sessions. So this year I'm doing a lot more technique, and I don't like the results we're having. I'm not saying that's the reason, you know what I mean, but I'm going back to last year, we did some things different, and even though we lost some, we weren't as good as we are now, I felt like we competed better. So we're cutting down on how much technique we're doing, and we're going back to fist fighting in practice, because that's what translates. Because we got Northern Iowa fist fought us, and we didn't like it. So we're going to learn the fist fighting here, and we'll fist fight out of there. So we're going to make some changes in practice. It's going to be 3 hard days, and then the same thing, recover on Friday, get ready Saturday, compete Sunday. It's a prestigious, important event for us in our program that we've traditionally done well at. We took second last year by ½ a point, and I still think Chris Savage getting defensively pinned in the finals on what I think was a bad call. We would have won the tournament. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to that again. In fact, last year we struggled a little bit, but even though we beat Lockhaven close by a point, the New York State was one of the highlights where we actually wrestled real well as a team. So planning on duplicating that.
Thanks for your time, Coach.
Appreciate having me.
Thank you for watching the W. Mason Coaches Report on GoHofstra.com.
Thank you.